Hi everyone, welcome to ELI, the place where you get your daily dose of inspiration for entrepreneurship. And today we have with us Mr. Rajesh Pandey, founder of Bridal Safari and many other ventures. He's a wedding photographer and his company is into wedding photography. Rajesh is a graduate of Xavier Institute of Management, Bhubaneswar, and has worked with companies such as ITC and Hindustan Latex for more than 10 years before starting his own venture in 2014. Rajesh is an author, award-winning photographer, and a photography educator. Hi, Rajesh. Welcome to ELI.
Hello, Priya. Thank you for having me over here.
Rajesh, I would request you to introduce yourself to our audience, please.
Sure. My name is Rajesh Pandey, and I graduated from XIMB in 2003 after having done my engineering. And from 2003 till 2008, rather 2009, I was in the corporate world, having worked with companies like ITC, ICI Paints, and a few more companies. And I was kind of looking for a creative expression in a purely numbers driven corporate world. And that's how, I picked up a camera and I attended a workshop, a photography workshop. And since then, it's been a remarkable journey. Of course, what started off as a hobby quickly changed into a full-time profession. Of course, there were quite a few hurdles all along the way, but I'm happy that I stuck along, and it's been an extremely fulfilling and rewarding career journey for me so far.
Okay. Rajesh, tell us about the ventures you have built so far. I believe you have been, building some ventures along the way.
Right. So I have been a part of about 3 ventures, of which two of them, I've kind of shut down, and one, continues to run. The first venture was aggregator that we wanted to be in the space of weddings, where something like a Zomato, we wanted to have it for the weddings, where all the vendors would be under one roof. And the second venture was into greeting cards, which we all have grown up to see Archie's and Hallmark greetings, but they're not as quirky and as funny, as contemporary as we would like it. So we wanted to give a twist to from the part of a point of view of B2B. So we wanted to build a greeting card platform, more like a CRM platform for the companies to directly get in touch with their customers. Of course, we were trying to raise funds for it, but we could not, and hence we had to wind up that startup as well. And of course, the third is my my wedding photography venture, which has been there with me from day one of my entrepreneurial journey. And as I built my other startups, this was something that I would always do as a passion. And then I came to realize there's no point in chasing something different from what you're 100% passionate about. And that's how I came to realize that it's best that if we can just focus on one area, which of course has a lot of potential.
Okay. In Japan, there is a concept called ikigai, where if you do what you
Yes,
love to do, then there is no boundary. In fact,
absolutely.
as a result of it, you tend to live longer as well. So, uh,
Yes,
I believe you have found your ikigai and you have been pursuing that, and there is no stopping there.
absolutely,
Having said
absolutely.
that, here is my question. When you thought of doing it and when you found your passion, how were your initial days when you thought of leaving your well-paying job and getting into uncertainty? How was the initial days? I am sure it will be challenging.
Oh yes, it was very, very challenging because I've chosen to be in a field which is traditionally not one of the career options to start with, because the opportunities back when I started in 2009, and I started in photography, a very niche part of photography, which was in weddings. So photography was not so much taken back then as a full-fledged career option. And to do it in weddings was completely unheard of, because the of course the kind of money which was there, the kind of opportunities to grow that were there was very, very limited. But at the same time, we were coming to the end uh, of an era of weddings which were very traditional, posed, and people were really craving for something more contemporary. And that was what actually gave me the confidence that in spite of all the challenges which were there in terms of the money, in terms of the opportunities, but because people were wanting to look at something completely different, that presented a huge amount of opportunities on the other side. And that's what kept me going. That's what prompted me to make the transition from my corporate career into something completely unknown at that point of time. And I'm talking about 2009, when I made the transition from my corporate career to the wedding photography as such.
Tell us initial
So
few.
yes, a lot of challenges.
Tell us about the initial few days.
Sorry, yeah.
What was the first thing you did after you quit your job? Did you buy a camera or did you find a client? How was it?
When I came out of my job, the trigger point was the vertical that I was supporting was downsized. So I was literally left without a job, and I had two options. Either I could go back, looking out for a job, or I could uh, test the waters, with my newfound passion in photography, and see, how far it went. And I chose the latter, and I'm so happy that I chose the latter option of, not pursuing any job opportunities. I just wanted to, see for myself firsthand whether I can sustain myself, as a photographer, as an independent photographer. And so yes, it wasn't about going and grabbing the biggest gadget or the lens. It was all about whether I can sustain myself for the next couple of months, and see whether this thing can be actually taken in as a serious career, a full-fledged career. So yeah, it was of course first 6 months, it was trial by fire. I could not find any paying opportunity in terms of photography. And very soon, I had my funds, all my savings were evaporated, because we had taken a house on EMI, and you have so many other expenses. So in 6 months, everything was wiped out. I was literally staring, looking forward, trying to imagine, how things would pan out if this is how things would be. So I had to, after 6 months, I had to go back searching for a job. And, that's how the initial first stint, it was over before it started. But the good thing was that I stuck along, because in the initial first 6 months, I had tasted some amount of success. I had gotten some inquiries, I had got some pro bono, assignments. I had got, some feedback about my work. So something positive had happened, something which gave me a hope for the future. So even though I came back to working, but I did not lose hope. I continued building my wedding photography business during the weekends. And that's how I continued for a year, till the time my pipeline was, and it gave me enough confidence to meet my wife. And then we said, okay, let's now give it a full-fledged try once again. So it's been pretty challenging, I would say.
Okay. Rajesh, if I were to explain you in a certain way, I'll say you are a person who has broken the rat race and come out. If there was another guy like you who wants to get out of the rat race trap and do something he's or she is passionate about, or want to build a venture, be it stand-up
Right.
comedy, or be it photography, videography, be it painting, whatever it might be, how do you suggest, what are the things you have learned along the way, you would suggest your future generation to continue on the same path?
Right. I think what's very, very important that I've learned is, uh, you know, it's very important to grow, even if it's minuscule. Uh, Growth is paramount. Grow. If you're not growing, you're dying. That's what, that's how it is. And sometimes as artists, as entrepreneurs, we live in our shell, a little shell that we have. That's where we create all the ideas. We think that this is going to be the next big thing, but we are scared of taking it out in the market, thinking that maybe it'll be copied, or maybe this is not the right time. But I feel the best possible way for you to grow as an entrepreneur or an artist is to share your work, is to get a feedback. Because only when you're open for a feedback will you know where you stand. If you don't know where you stand, then there is no way you can reach where you want to reach. And one of the most powerful ways of getting a feedback is to find a mentor, someone who's already done that, someone whom you really respect for who they are. And I think this is the quickest hacks that I can suggest if you want to be successful in any dream that you have, or that you have, show the results that you have of your startup, out of your uh, you know your artwork, and get a solid feedback. If you are really in for it, if you're really passionate, you'll try to up your game. But if you're not, then the moment the feedback comes, you're going to escape. You're going to either battle it out, or you're going to chicken out. There are only going to be two ways out of it. Either you'll say that, okay, this is the feedback that I have. Now, how do I improve? What do I do? Or if the feedback is excellent, if they say that, wow, this is amazing, that's the time that you should be thinking about making a product out of it, taking it to the market. But if the feedback is negative, then you should be thinking about, how do we improve on the product? What needs to be done in order to better it? So, I was very fortunate, and this is my story. I got feedback from, some excellent photographers, entrepreneurs who helped me shape my work, who helped me shape my business. And, I guess I did not give up. That's something which is for taken, because if you're passionate about anything, the one thing that you would have in common with all high achievers is you would not give up. If you're really passionate about it, you would not give up.
Okay. Rajesh, tell us what have you learned the difference between entrepreneurship and a 9 to 5 job is.
See, when it comes to 9 to 5 job, I guess you start at 9 and you finish at 5. That's what happens with most of the people. But with entrepreneurship, the buck stops with you. So you are, whether you're, where it's 9 o'clock in the day or 9 o'clock in the night or 12 o'clock, you are always in it. You are always thinking about, how to improve either your business or your art or your product. So I think, ownership, if you ask me, is a lot more. And to start with, everything circles around you. Whereas in a 9 to 5 job, it's already a team that is, built in. So you are a part of the team, and, a lot of responsibility is a shared responsibility. Whereas when you're on your own, everything is on you then. So, it is very exciting. It calls for a lot of ownership. It calls for a lot of energy to pull it through to a point where you can, have your own team in place. So I think that's the main difference between, a 9 to 5 job and entrepreneur.
As you rightly mentioned, entrepreneurship is when you are entrepreneur, you are on your own, and sometimes it may feel like a
Yes.
lonely journey. Having said that, no matter how much disciplined you are, you're bound to face some lows in your course of entrepreneurship. If you
Yes.
have ever faced such instances, how did you deal with it, and how does one deal with it anyway?
I think having a good set of friends and a supportive family really helps, because initially when you are trying to create a mark, people will not know you're aiming to do or what exactly your vision is. So, having a good set of friends, people who trust you, people who can give you advice which is not sugar coated, someone who can, call a spade, uh, family members who are supportive, and are able to stand with you more than, anything else, because the initial first few years is going to be rough, because you're trying to create something out of nothing. And not only that, you're also trying to make a transition from a high paying job, if you're in the corporate world, or if you have some kind of a established framework that you're operating from. So, I would say family, get the support of your family first, because if the family is not supporting, then somewhere down the line, maybe, you will also not get the steam that you need at that point of time, if you have people who are not completely believing in what you're doing. So if you can share with them the larger vision. And having said that, families are there to support. All they need is to understand whether you have a larger picture in your mind, and you're not just doing something because of um, a short-term kind of a term kind of a thing, or a stopgap kind of arrangement. They need to get that confidence. And the best way to give that confidence is through your work again. If they can see some work, that'll give them that confidence that yes, whatever you are doing, has a future. So get the confidence of your parents, your family, your friends. I think that is a game changer.
Okay. Speaking of long-term picture, I would like to know what is your vision, Rajesh?
Well, my vision, in terms of our photography, wedding photography company, is to be the number one in the country, and the kind of quality that we stand for. It's to build a team around those parameters where we get uh, the same kind of people that we have, to build this brand, which is synonymous with high quality wedding photography across the country. And that's what gives me a lot of kick. That's what drives me to make this brand, a national brand, and to take it to all the smaller towns across the country.
Rajesh, share with us some of the funny instances you have come across in your entrepreneurial journey.
Well, in the hindsight, it looks funny, but believe me, when it was actually happening, it wasn't as funny. Uh, One of the things that I talk about is the time when I spoke about when I was leaving my corporate, or deciding to leave my corporate job, and it was such a difficult decision because my wife and I were, we were going to have our first child, and so my child was, going to be, she was supposed to be born in August, and I got the letter from my management saying that the vertical has been downsized, and this news came in June, and I was uh, scared of telling this to my wife. So every single day, between June to August, till the time my child was born, I would take my laptop bag and I would, pretend to go to work. And, I would actually end up on the streets taking pictures. So, for about a month and a half, every single day, I would go out of the house, taking my laptop bag with me. And for, a good 8-9 hours spent on the streets of Bangalore taking pictures, and not having the guts to come back home telling, this is what happened, because I did not want to share this piece of news before, during the time of the pregnancy and before the child was born. And so that, I mean, it seems to be a little funny at this point of time, but believe me, it wasn't very funny back then when it happened. So yeah, many such stories. It's been almost 10 years now since I've been in this field as a wedding photographer, running this wedding photography company, and it's been remarkable, you know.
I think this is very interesting, and all the viewers who are watching, they should be aware that this is what entrepreneurship looks like. This is the ground reality. Every day is a new challenge, and sometimes you have to go through very tough times. And this is what makes you as a builds you as a tough and genuine person as well. Uh, Very interesting. Rajesh, can you share with me just one challenge you shared with us? I would like to hear more challenges you have faced along the way, and this will be perhaps my second last question.
Sure. See, the first thing is to get as I said, to get the support of the family is, that's what gives you the first step. Because if you're already, as Richard Branson tells you that, entrepreneurship is like, jumping off the cliff and then figuring out how to build the plane, right? So while you're doing this, uh, you're fighting so much against the tide. So if you have some support somewhere, and that's where the family comes in, it makes it very easy to start with. But having said that, once you have that one little bit working for you, I think the other thing is to ensure that your cash flow is good in the initial days. And if you have cash coming in the door, that is, believe me, 90% of the problem is solved. So having the cash flow sorted out uh, is one big area that one needs to work on. And for that, you will have to decide whether you want to be a premium player, you want to be a mass player, you want to how do you want to position your product. And once that that piece is solved, and you have a good quality product available for your market and the cash is coming in, I think 90% of the challenge is solved, because after that it is all about building a team. And if you can hire the right team with an excellent product at hand, the only place to go is to grow. So I think these two are very, very critical. You get your cash flow right, you get the team right. Once you put these two together, it's going to be a massive kind of a growth, and then there's going to be no looking back.
Okay. This is
But
one.
I think one more thing that I would like to mention over here is the focus that is required. As entrepreneurs, we are also guilty of trying to do too many things, and that's where somewhere down the line, the focus in that one thing is lost. And when you lose focus in that one thing and you're trying to play around with a couple of different ideas, then it the entire effort dissipates. The product is not just what it should be. And there's so much to do in that one thing, that if your effort is divided into multiple areas, including, as I said, setting your family support right, because then that is one less thing to be worrying about. So if you can just focus yourself and to build on that one product, then I think it's and to take it out to the market as soon as possible so that you can get the feedback. So if you can achieve this and get some loyal customers who are ready to pay for your product, maybe 5, maybe 10, and then scale it up to say 20, 100, and then beyond. So that is the key to success, in my opinion.
Okay. Rajesh, this is my last question.
Yeah.
All that you said is the journey. Now I would like to know, and what would be your suggestion as well to our audience to get started? How do they get started as an entrepreneur?
See, I feel, we spend too much, as an entrepreneur, we spend too much time thinking about that perfect product. And that getting to that point where we build that perfect product, we waste a lot of time. For entrepreneurship, time is of essence. So if you can, what I'm saying is, trying to get the best product out in the market is, I would say, not as important as getting it out first. And while you get it out first, building the iterations inside that product to get the final product out, maybe in some point of time. So I would say that don't try to think about the bestest product, because you need some kind of a feedback coming in from the customers. You need to get your idea, your product, your service out first, and then in the course of time, refine it, build it, better it, And that's how, one needs to go about it, than to think about, how do we, get the best product out in the market and spend a lot of time building the product and wasting time, money, energy, and then finally getting disappointed. So it's not. I mean, going back to one of the startups that we wanted to build an aggregator, and I had a founder with me, and before we could kind of build the product, there was another player who came in the market, and they built it before us. So we said, oh my God, there's someone else who's already beat us to this, in terms of launching. So the novelty of the product is not going to be there. So we gave up on the idea. And this, the other player wound up in about a year's time. So we thought that this guy, who's got the first movers advantage, and he's already launched the same product in the market, and we've kind of now lost on that opportunity. So why at all try? So we did not try. We gave up on that idea, and after a year, the person who had already started, he also wound up. So it's not so important to get one of the best products out in the market, but it's very, very best products. When I mean is, from day one. I say, what I'm trying to say is that it's a journey. Make the first step, and then sustainable business, a sustainable brand.
Okay. On that note, I'll close this session and would like to tell you this was a really inspiring story we just now heard from you. I think our audience would have got lifetime lessons from this session. Thanks for your time, Rajesh, and our best wishes for all the future ventures that will build along the way.
Hey, thank you so much, Priya. I think you're doing an excellent job in, getting different perspectives of different entrepreneurs about their journey, about their challenges, and I think this is something which is needed, and I'm sure this is going to be inspiring a lot of people who are starting off. So, excellent work done, Priya. Thank you.
Thank you. It was an honor to host you. Viewers, you can follow and connect with Rajesh on LinkedIn by typing Rajesh Pandey. Also, do visit their website by typing rajeshpandey.com. That is it for today's episode. We will be back with another exciting entrepreneur. Stay tuned to ELI.